Hi there, welcome. Today I bring you Intelshadow, a plugin for AutoCAD that helps us create shadow style fills from 2D polylines. Shadow elements are very important in architecture, engineering, and technical drawing, as they allow us to add depth, visual hierarchy, and better readability to our drawings. Intelshadow generates shadows by simulating graphic fills that automatically adapt to the shape of a polyline. From a contour, the plugin calculates the shadow and allows us to customize different parameters such as the angle, length, line spacing, and edge roughness. If the polyline is closed, the plugin will not create shadows inside it, but will interpret it as a solid, generating the shadow only to the outside of the contour. On the other hand, if the polyline is open, the shadow will behave like a linear element, projecting along the selected line. Okay, once the plugin is installed, we open AutoCAD. In the command line, we type Intelshadow and press Enter. The program prompts us to select the contour line. At this point, we select a 2D polyline that represents the contour of the shadow we want to generate. Immediately, the plugin shows us a preview of the shadow directly on the drawing. Several available options appear in the command line. These are Finish, Angle, Length, Roughness, Separation, Silhouette, and Create Lines. If we simply press Enter, the shadow is created with the default values. Let's review each of these options I mentioned earlier. The first option is Angle. With this option, we can change the angle of the shadow, which allows us to simulate different light directions depending on the drawing's orientation or the graphic criteria we need. The next option is Length. Here we can modify the length of the shadow. Higher values generate longer shadows, while lower values produce shorter and more subtle shadows. Next, we have Roughness. This option controls the roughness of the shadow's edge. If we leave the value at 0, the shadow will have completely straight and clean edges. If we increase the value, the edge will have more irregularity, achieving a more conceptual effect. The separation option allows us to control the spacing between the hatched lines used to create the shadow. Next, we find the silhouette option. This option allows us to add an additional silhouette, making the shadow adapt to the shape of another selected polyline. This way, the shadow adjusts to follow that silhouette, achieving a more precise and controlled result. Finally, with the Create Lines option, we can generate the shadow while maintaining this linear style, exactly as shown in the preview. This is a conceptual style, although in practice it's common to use solid fills. And that's it. This way, we can create shadows quickly, flexibly, and in a fully customizable manner using Intelshadow. This plugin is designed to improve the graphical representation of your drawings in AutoCAD, saving time and avoiding repetitive manual processes. Thanks. Subscribe/comment/share.